I want to bring in now a friend, a colleague, somebody I served with in the United States Congress, the former congressman from South Carolina, and I believe a Fox News contributor, Trey Gowdy. Trey, I really do appreciate yourself tearing yourself out of bed. We gave you the latest possible time that we could. I was surprised that you actually got here this early, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jason. The draft kept me up late last night, but I managed to get here by 9:30.
All right, so I want to get to some politics and some stuff that's going on in the world today, because Donald Trump, he's blasting the Democrats' coronavirus, as he calls it, witch hunt. Here's an excerpt from the Trump campaign email. It says, first, the Democrats' Russia delusion failed because we fought back. Then their impeachment hoax failed because we fought back even harder. Now they are trying to weaponize a new coronavirus committee against me. This is the third witch hunt in 3 years. If the past has taught us anything, it's that their pathetic attempts to turn the American people against me are not going to work. I used to chair the Oversight Committee. You were the chairman of the Oversight Committee, and now they want another committee in Congress to go after the president and look at coronavirus. What's your take on that?
Well, Jason, let me phrase it a little bit differently. The president's been under investigation since before he was the president. It's been 4 years now. I mean, the Russia investigation began in the spring of 2016. So for 4 years, Donald Trump's been under investigation. I'm going to list for you the names of the people leading those investigations, and I want you to stop me, Jason, when I get to somebody you think is really fair and really dispassionate. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andy McCabe, Jim Comey, John Brennan, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler. I mean, how would you like to be investigated by that crew? So unfairness, either the reality or the perception of unfairness, has a devastating impact on the person who thinks they're being treated unfairly. And so Trump is watching this new committee be formed to investigate his response. Have you seen Schiff have a hearing on Michael Horowitz's FISA review? Have you seen Schiff have a hearing on China's response to COVID-19? No, it's all Trump. So if he appears paranoid, sometimes you can be paranoid and people really are out to get you.
Well, yeah, Trey, just like in January and February, they were obsessed with impeachment when they could have otherwise been focusing or paying attention to things that are now affecting us now. The president tweeted this yesterday. He said, the do-nothing Democrats are spending much of their money on fake ads. I never said that the coronavirus is a hoax. I said that the Democrats and the way they lied about it are a hoax. Also, it did start with one person from China and then grew and will be a miracle. And what's your take, Trey, on how the president has handled this under siege, staring down the Chinese, press briefings informing the American public? What's your sense of his handling so far?
Well, this is an unprecedented event in our country. And, you know, it's hard to be a leader, which is why so few people raise their hands and say, I actually want to be the president of the United States. My advice to the president is to let the healthcare professionals handle explaining our healthcare response. He should be the comforter in chief, the encourager in chief. He should mix in hope with the reality of the statistics, but let the healthcare professionals handle giving us advice on how we should treat this virus. It is very frustrating to feel like you are constantly the object of unfair critique. But it's been that way for 4 years. And I don't think he needs to punch down to individual reporters during these White House briefings. I mean, let the doctors handle those questions. Be the president of the United States. That's an incredible honor that very few people will ever have. So don't punch down to individual reporters, as tempting as it may be.
Well, and, you know, you mentioned a great point, Trey, and the fact that, you know, the president does like to speak off the cuff during those White House briefings, but that's part of the reason why he was elected in 2016, because Americans love that he speaks to them. But unfortunately, he does get a lot of criticism because he likes to speak out loud, just as Dr. Birx has said. But I just don't understand the dichotomy of this now subcommittee saying that they're going to investigate the Trump administration and how they handled this when they're criticizing him, that he needs to let medical professionals actually handle these and field these questions and what to do. The bottom line is this is just going to be more divisive than anything that's going on right now, because we're still in the midst of COVID-19. We're not past it. Why don't they actually get to work and do something and put something forward to actually help, like the small businesses, instead of having delayed and getting these loans out? Having this subcommittee right now, in my opinion, is just another waste of resources and a waste of people's time, and it's going to take attention away from what is really needed right now.
Well, Dr. Sapphire, the nicest compliment I can pay you is you would not be able to understand the way Washington reacts. You're a healthcare professional who just sees a patient and doesn't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat, just treats the patient. That's not the way Washington works. They wanted this president under investigation since the day of his inauguration, and they want him under investigation until the next election. And they're going to do it, and they're going to do it with the aiding and the abetting of the D.C. media. I mean, where is the scrutiny for not having Horowitz talk about FISA abuse? Where is the scrutiny for Adam Schiff not having hearings on China and what they did with COVID-19? It is all Trump all the time. So if he appears to be a little bit miffed at 4 years worth of investigation, I think that's the reason.
Now, Congressman, I want to get your take on Vice President Biden, who has vigorously denied the allegations of any sexual impropriety. But I got to tell you, there are a lot of people looking at this case and saying, how come the media is not asking Joe Biden about these questions the way they inquired with Justice Kavanaugh?
Well, Jason, Lady Justice wears a blindfold for a reason. That's probably the last system that's universally respected in our culture, would be the justice system, because you don't see R or D, and you don't see Northerner or Southerner. You just see the facts. I was really critical of politicians during Kavanaugh. I mean, how could you possibly, Jason, say that I'm going to decide who I believe before the person opens their mouth? I mean, do you remember Democrat senators say all women must be believed? Well, that sure as hell wasn't their position when I was prosecuting rape cases and they were on the other side of the courtroom. They didn't think all women should be believed. So I want everybody to be treated the same. Joe Biden's entitled to due process. This complaining witness, this victim, is entitled to tell her story, and then we use cross-examination and the confrontation of witnesses. That's the way we elucidate the truth. We don't do it by saying entire category of witnesses are to be believed or disbelieved. That's not the way the justice system, it's not the way it works, it's not the way the political system should work.
Trey Gowdy, smart dude. We may disagree a little bit. I like to see the president smack back at these phony reporters, but I get your point, and we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much. You can
Yes,
go back
sir.
to bed
Thank
now.
you all.